All right, welcome back, folks. Today we're going to be talking about the departure of KJ Black and Nick Jones, how they're both being hired by the Atlanta Falcons, and why that's a little confusing, why it makes sense, and where the Rams could go from here. Before we get into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. You can follow me at JKBogan on all social media, and you can check out my unfiltered podcast. Link is in the description below. Let's dive into it. So KJ Black, for those of you who don't know, has been with the Rams now, I believe 2 years as an offensive assistant. He was a coaching fellow. Now he's an offensive assistant, and now he's leaving. He started off his college ball, played at Western Kentucky, transferred to Prairie View at A&M. And then, of course, he was able to, end up coaching at Florida A&M. Then the Rams added him to the coaching staff as a coaching fellow under the Bill Walsh coaching fellowship program. Nick Jones is a little bit different. This is somebody that started with the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, he had some prior experience as a coach. Actually, at Georgia, he was a graduate assistant. So then he came to the Rams. He's been there for 3 years now, offensive line helping there as the offensive assistant. So the reason why I'm confused by this one is I don't really, well, first off, their lateral moves, the Falcons are getting KJ Black and Nick Jones on their staff. The Rams, it's not like, I don't know if they were going to promote them or not. I guess not, but it's not like the Falcons are promoting them. It seems as though multiple reports would suggest that they're not getting promoted. So this is just a lateral move. Sean McVay chose not to block the lateral move. So that's a little bit interesting. McVay had been developing these guys. I've heard great things about them. KJ Black was working with the quarterbacks. You lose your passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach to Atlanta already in Zach Robinson. So I thought, okay, just slide KJ right in there. That's not what happened. Offensive line, I understand there's some guys there. Of course, you have Ryan Wendell. You have Mike Munchak, the great legendary Mike Munchak, who's been, kind of consulting for them, but he's been around the building. So I get maybe, there for Nick Jones, but it seems a little weird for KJ Black. This is where I did a lot of research on this because I wanted to understand, is this a proximity thing, like location, whatever? And honestly, it might be for especially Nick Jones. So let me first say to the Falcons fans that are new here on the channel, welcome. Appreciate all the support. You guys are amazing. And I will say just full-fledged right now, I will be rooting for the Atlanta Falcons. I want to see Raheem Morris and all the Rams coaches that are on that staff. I have no ill will towards anything, them going out and getting coaches. That's just the way the NFL is. Obviously, if Sean McVay wanted to keep anybody, they'd still be a Rams. So rooting for Raheem to all hell. With that said, of course, if they ever play the Rams, where I'm going to have my allegiance, but very excited for the Atlanta Falcons. So you Falcons, followers here, appreciate you guys. Just know I'm also on your side too. I'm very much rooting for you to have a great season. So let's dive into this. This stings for the Rams. It doesn't sting a ton because, not that we know of, because McVay allowed this, but it does sting. You like seeing those young up and coming coaches, and that's what those guys were. My guess, though, Nick Jones spent 3 seasons with the Rams, but I mentioned earlier, he got his start in the fellowship program with the Atlanta Falcons. And this is somebody who went to school at Georgia, graduate assistant at Georgia, is from Georgia. So I actually think the proximity there and just the location, I think that's really what led to Nick Jones pursuing this. Plus, it's Sean McVay is great, but I can go with Sean McVay or I can go with Raheem Morris. Either way, I'm winning because I was around that type of culture. I know what Raheem Morris brings to the table. And maybe, Nick kind of viewed himself as a better fit for the Falcons. And, the location mattered. How many times have you, come across a job that wants you to travel for whatever reason or move? And you just decided, I'm going to stick close to home. I don't want to move right now. I'm not in that position. I'm not in that headspace. I've actually been asked to move to LA for jobs. And I have turned them all down because I wanted to live here in upstate New York. Call me crazy. I like this area. So I get it. I get it from Nick Jones' perspective. in that regard, I do think this is a location thing, and he's getting Raheem Morris as his coach, so like his head coach. So that's great. For KJ Black, former collegiate quarterback, previously with Florida A&M, goes to the Rams. He didn't start with Atlanta, right? Nick Jones did. So that's a little weird to see a guy like that leave. Plus, the Rams haven't had anybody on their offensive line staff leave. So it's, okay, like Nick Jones, like, that sucks, but it's understandable because, there's still kind of a surplus there. There's not really a pathway to moving up right now. Ryan Wendell is really good. And of course, you have Mike Munchak in the building, and Zach Cromer also works with the offensive line. So there's a lot of guys there, with Nick Jones. So I understand that. KJ, it's a little different. And it's not that I'm, crapping on him for leaving, because he has every right to do whatever he wants. I believe in mobility. I've been mobile in my jobs. Obviously, I quit my day job and now I'm doing this full time. So I get that. But it's a little weird because KJ Black, like his pathway to, rising up quickly up the ranks, unless Sean McVay told him it wasn't going to happen, was Zach Robinson going to Atlanta. So Zach Robinson going to Atlanta, basically he's been developed by Sean McVay and company, and he was the passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Now that he leaves, those are two big positions that are open, potentially the passing game specialist. So there was definitely a promotion there. I don't know if the Rams were going to give that to him or what happened, but KJ decided to go to the Falcons in a lateral move. It doesn't sound like he's going to get promoted. He is going to work with Zach Robinson again, and that might have honestly come down to it. He might love Sean McVay. He might love Raheem Morris, but maybe the deciding factor was, I want to work with Zach Robinson, and Sean McVay wasn't going to block anybody. So maybe that's it. But either way, big fan of both of them. I think if you're a Falcons fan, you're getting two really good guys on the staff that could really, grow into this staff, and furthermore could, end up being, key pieces of this coaching staff down the road. KJ Black could be your offensive coordinator when Zach Robinson likely gets a head coaching job. Nick Jones could end up being your run game coordinator and, offensive line coach. You don't know. But I think that they have two really good ones, and these aren't just like some no-name guys. I think they're decent losses for the Rams. And with that said, I just want to let you guys know today's sponsor is Mantis Sleep. That is right. I got the sleep mask here. If you guys haven't copped one yourself, you can use my promo code JKBogan to do so. What can I say? I've been using this every night. I'm getting sleep that I never got before. I never thought I would be using a sleep mask. And to be honest with you, I can't believe it. I really can't. And this thing's so awesome because if you like music like I do, these tabs on the sides, like these are great because these are actually razor thin speakers that go right in your ear hole. You can adjust them. And since I'm a side sleeper, it works so well. 100% blackout, all their masks, because the C-shaped design, it allows you to be a side sleeper and use this. Zero pressure. That's the thing. I was always concerned. I heard all these people, I use sleep masks, but there's I just thought there'd be a lot of pressure. It wouldn't be for me. And it is for me. And it's probably for you too. You just got to give it a shot. So use promo code JKBogan to get your 10% off your Mantis Sleep purchase. They have plenty of accessories. They have plenty of different ones. Like this one is the Mantis Sleep Sound. They have the Pro. They have a silk one. They have a lightweight one. They have all sorts of them. So you just got to check it out on the website. The link is in the description, the comments section, and you can find it up, the link above. But yeah, thank you, Mantis Sleep. Let's get back to the video. So the fact that he chose not to block them, is that him being nice and just letting them do what they want to do? Or is that him maybe I want a more experienced staff? And I think that's an interesting thing to bring up because I don't think either are wrong. You have this culture. You want to protect the culture. You don't want to come off as somebody who's forcing people to stay. If they want to leave, they want to leave. And if they view it as a better opportunity, maybe Sean McVay looks at it as, it was a promotion. But the way I see it is that this could also be a change. He might also want more experience in the coaching room. And I kind of feel this way because first off, people say, well, what about, Shula? and the hiring. I think today is actually his birthday, if I'm not mistaken. So he would be 38. So happy birthday to him. If it is, it might be tomorrow. It's one of those days. But Shula is going to be 38. So that's still really young, but he's been around the Rams since 2017. He's one of the more experienced coaches on this staff. You don't get any more experience. He's as experienced as Sean McVay on this staff. So that's something to keep in mind. But adding Jeff Smith from the Chargers, and I was told it was Jiff, not GIF. So I don't know. But I'll just say Jiff for now. He's 55. Defensive line coach the majority of his career. Now he's going to be a defensive line coach again. He worked with the outside linebackers and became the interim head coach for the Chargers. I already mentioned that in a separate video. So if you want to deep dive on him, I have that video already out there on the channel. But the point I'm making is 55-year-old coach. And then your promotion is a guy who's been around the Rams since 2017. And so when you think about it, that level of experience, my wheels, my gears start, churning. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, well, if they're not going to promote KJ Black and they're going to let Zach Robinson go, which I mean, they were going to let him go anyway, and they hired a 55-year-old to be the defensive line coach, maybe they're going in that direction. And so I went back to that video that I made, and I went over my list, and 4 guys that really stand out to me, veteran coaches, starting from the oldest, Frank Reich, 62 years old. I know people are going to be very recency biased with that. He did horrible with Carolina. He wasn't great to end his tenure with the Colts. But if this guy is in a way lesser role, who's to say he can't be great in that role? He was a great offensive coordinator with Doug Peterson. A lot of people give him more credit than Peterson. And then he got hired, and okay, he's just not a head coach. That's fine. But who's to say he can't be a quarterback coach and passing game coordinator? I don't know. And then you have 60-year-old John Gruden, who, again, we've talked about this, the PR, the optics. It wouldn't look great. I'm just being honest. But at the same time, the Saints are interested, supposedly in bringing him on the staff. He's currently a consultant. He's been working with Derek Carr. He worked with Carson Wentz. He knows what it's like to work with quarterbacks. Wentz might be back. Who knows? Maybe John Gruden fits right in there. And this is how you get him back on his way because, I don't want to get too much into it, but if he's already in the NFL right now, it's not going to be long before he finally, moves his way back up the rungs. He may never be a head coach again, but he's going to find his way moving back up the rungs. Then you have Greg Olsen, who's 60 years old. This would be his 4th different time coaching with the Rams. He's been an offensive coordinator. He's been a quarterback's coach. I think he is the best option, to be honest with you. I like all 4 of them. I haven't even mentioned the 4th one, but I think Olsen, who's already been in this staff before, he's worked with McVay. Gruden actually took him from the Rams and brought him over to the Raiders. I think Olsen would make a lot of sense. So we'll see what ends up happening there, but I like Greg Olsen as the quarterback's coach and passing game coordinator if they go this route. Jay Gruden's the next guy, 56 years old, worked as a Rams. He was an advisor, I believe, to the head coach. So not too long ago, about 2 years ago, then took some time off. I know he worked with the Jaguars beforehand, and now he's with the 33rd team. But I wouldn't be surprised if he came back into coaching. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams went with him. Mind you, John Gruden works with quarterbacks. Greg Olsen has been a quarterback's coach before. Frank Reich has worked with quarterbacks. Jay Gruden has never been a quarterback's coach before. So it would be a little bit different. But those are some names that I thought of. Or it's going to be current pass game specialist Jake Peetz. And this is really just his job for the taking. Really, they're just waiting to see how he interviews with the Bucs. Does he get the offensive coordinator job? If he does, okay, we move on. If not, I think Jake Peetz is going to be the guy they hire. And then, previous video I mentioned guys like Joe Brady, who I think is going to stay with the Bills, Brian Johnson, who's interviewing for offensive coordinator jobs even still after the season that he had with the Eagles, Byron Leftwich, who's been out of football for a little bit, Dan Orlovsky, who's never coached before, JT O'Sullivan, and TJ Yates, who, I'll be honest, I don't see the Rams taking anybody off Raheem Morris's staff, but that would be interesting. So those are some names to look out for. But, in theory, I'm just happy for both of them. I'm happy for KJ Black. I'm happy for Nick Jones. I'm never going to hold anything against guys that want to, that believe in mobility. I think it would be hypocritical of me to do that because I've also done that before. So look, I would love to have him on the staff, but if Sean McVay decided it was better for the team to let them go do their thing, then fine. And by the way, if a guy wants to leave, you can block it, but is that great for morale? Is that great for team morale? If you're going to block your coach from leaving and now they're stuck there at a job they don't want to be at, I mean, I don't know. That doesn't sound too great. So I think it's not that those guys I think were leaving for any other reason than maybe just like what was with the Falcons, maybe just a new opportunity. I don't think that they were leaving this team because of anything that was going on. I've only heard good things. So I don't know. I will say this. I have to say this. The trajectory the Rams are on, it seems a little weird for Eric Henderson. It seems a little weird for KJ Black. It seems a little weird for Nick Jones. It seems a little weird for any coach to want to leave this, this organization right now. Because the trajectory they are on, the way they finished that season, they were the hottest team in the National Football League, and they lost by 1 point on the road against the Lions. And I have to believe that this year they're going to be competing for a Super Bowl. They'll at least be in the conversation. I need to see what they do in the offseason. So it is a little weird to see like guys leave. But again, it is a business. There's so much more that goes into it. And plus, I also have to say this because I haven't stressed this enough. I only know what you know. Like I'll go out and I'll do research, but that research is available to you too. So I will never claim to be somebody that is a know-it-all and, that I have all the information. I'm just doing the research. I'm talking to some people that have some information. I can tell you, oh yeah, I've heard nice things, but I keep it basic because, really, I'm not trying to go into deep detail when I don't know them personally. I've never met KJ. I've never met Nick. I don't know them. So I don't want to sit here and say it's a bad hire, it's a bad this, it's a bad that. I'm never going to be that person. Although I will say if the Rams hired Ron Rivera to be defense coordinator, I would have been that person. But anyway, the point I'm making is that I only know so much and you only know so much. We only have access to so much as a coach. So even in a different sense, I've seen a lot of people saying the Chris Shula, hire sucks. Well, does it? How does it suck? Explain that to me because you don't know. You don't know him personally. You haven't been in the building. You haven't been working with him. He's been there since 2017. Does he need to work 10 years? Does he need to work 20 before it's okay for him to be promoted? That's my thing. So I think like with coaching, just to kind of wrap this up in a bow, you only know what you know. And that's the thing there. So look, I think this is I think it's a good hire. I do, truly. But like for the Falcons, as far as the Rams go, they'll replace him. And it sucks, but that's been Sean McVay's tenure since 2017. Replace. Like guys leave all the time. So this is nothing new. We'll see what ends up happening. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. You can follow me on social media at JKBogan. And of course, you can check out my unfiltered podcast. Link is in the description. I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys take care. Later, folks. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.